Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Gas is on the Right. No, he's got a chance to win the race.
I think that might have been like one of the cleanest hits I've ever seen in a NASCAR fight.
Side Rick. Yeah, the back. Oh, into the wall hard goes Ryan Blaney.
And he finally came to a stop, and it was just dead silent.
I said this last week, and I'm going to keep reiterating it. Live with the decisions you make, drive by the decisions you make. Don't change up your style, but also just don't be dumb.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Gas is on the Right podcast. This is our 1 year anniversary of podcasting, Phoenix edition. This is where me and Alan started last year, and now we're here again this year.
Do y'all know the official date of y'all's 1 year?
No, it was the Phoenix race. That's 1 year.
Yeah, the Phoenix was 1 year. I think I got a notification last week that the Spotify account was created a year ago, last week or the week before. Because I know we had it set up a week prior to Phoenix, and we were going to start after Phoenix. But we are here now a year into this, and what an increase we've seen. Some cool stuff going on. I mean, we're sponsoring a race car. So big moves. Well,
so let's jump right into, I guess we could call this regular season Phoenix.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Regular season Phoenix, so that's a good thing.
Regular season Phoenix. I don't know. Dog legs. So this was the first dog leg of the regular season this year. Sorry, I'm trying to get the notes up and I'm just messing everything up. My fault.
Yeah, Phoenix is very unique in its own right with that dog leg. I heard him talking about it on the Fox broadcast. It all comes down from the road course. When it was built at a road course that went out into the parking lot. So it exited out of turn 4 and then came in at the front of the dog leg. And that was, I think, the purpose behind there being a dog leg. But man, does it make for some fun restarts.
Yeah, I mean, that's really the only exciting part of Phoenix is when restarts happen,
Yeah, I mean, granted, we saw a better race than we've seen.
Yeah, well, that's just, circumstantially, if that race would have went green, it wouldn't have been a better race.
Circumstantially.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Phoenix is always going to be Phoenix. How long have they been racing at Phoenix? 30 years?
Let's see.
It's been a hot minute.
And
I mean,
how many different cars have they brought, and how many different packages have they brought? All the races look the same. There's no package that you can throw at that racetrack that's going to make that racetrack race any differently. Phoenix is going to race like Phoenix, no matter what car you bring or what package you bring. Phoenix is going to race like Phoenix. Circumstances will make the race a little bit better. When you host a championship there, people give it a little bit more grace because it's a championship race. And when things like a thing comes out in the middle of the third stage and flips the entire field, circumstantially that makes the race better because you have people. Well, Christopher Bell really was the only one who was able to carve his way back up from 20th back to first to win the race.
right.
Yeah.
So NASCAR hosted their first race at Phoenix in 1978.
Yeah. So a lot longer than we've been alive, and the racing consistently looked exactly the same, no matter what vehicle, what package.
46 years.
Yeah. So you're not going to fix Phoenix bringing a different car, different tire, different package, or whatever you want to bring with it. Phoenix is going to Phoenix, and it's it's hard to say, well, what do you do to change it? Because the past 6 races that they've had there have all sold out. They're not going to change it.
I'm going to ask you that exact question.
Why why would you change anything if they're selling it out for the past 6 races? That's kind of hard to do. Just because people are complaining because there's a narrative that Phoenix sucks because people just don't accept it for what it is, you know?
Right. Yeah, I mean, Phoenix is its own animal. It's got really low banking. Um, again, the dog leg is kind of the only thing where you can actually fan out, but it doesn't really provide that much of a net gain sometimes. You may get lucky,
Hmm.
but for the most part, it doesn't provide a net gain. And I mean, it creates good restarts, but like you said, I mean, with 6 sellouts in a row, you can't not go to Phoenix because, I mean, going there and actually being there for a championship race, first off, the venue is phenomenal. I
Hmm.
mean, very well done, well laid out, easy to access, easy. I wouldn't say easy in and out if you're not driving, but if you're driving, it's pretty simple in and out. Which going through Avondale and everything, I mean, it's all just cubes of space. There's not really any like
So
winding roads
here
per se.
now, there compared to like here, I'm like, where's the, where's the hills? Why are we just flat for
Yeah.
miles?
Yeah.
There is none.
There's just mountain
Where are the
ranges in the
trees?
distance.
Hmm. Like I can see the hill. We've been driving for a while.
Yeah, I honestly wonder if Rattlesnake Hill out of turn 1 and 2 is actually where they just dug out dirt for the track and then just put it up there and
And
piled
then
it
it just
and
made its
then
own hill.
terraced it. So, I mean, it's a pretty valid question or valid point there, but
Embarrassing.
yeah, either way, I mean, I do agree with that. Phoenix is its own animal. You can't judge a new package per se by it. I will here shortly, but you can't exactly. Um, wow, that just like flushed out.
I know, right?
But overall, I mean, better than what we've seen. That is horrible. There we go. I look like a ghost. But well, let's get
That's what
rolling
you get for
into it.
stealing my ring light.
Yeah, it's not liking me tonight. We're just all the technical difficulties.
Freaking laptop keeps closing.
I know. I feel like we're all just having technical difficulties tonight.
It's just not rolling, guys.
Happy 1 year anniversary.
Yeah, happy 1 year. We can't get anything to work properly. So, well, let's roll into where we starting with.
Toyotas.
Fast.
Toyotas in the desert, as you pinned it.
Fast. Just in general fast. Well, you had
We had
5 out of
4
the top
qualify
10.
in the top 10.
4 qualify in the top 10.
I think it's 4. Well, with Hamlin on the pole, so I guess that does make 5 technically if you're counting Hamlin in that.
So, qualifying in the top 10. Toyota's up front most of the day. And then you had 1, 2, 3, 4 finish in the top 10. Goodness. 2, 3, yeah, 4. I was right. 4 in the top 10 with Bell winning the race, Gibbs third, Truex seventh, and Reddick rounding out the top 10, and actually Denny Hamlin finishing 11th after a late race spin. So, Toyota's looking fast.
Yeah, he screwed it up.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they screwed it up, but really, he made it interesting.
It made it kind of a
I will
race.
say I saw more out of the Fords this week than I have in previous weeks. What would y'all say about that?
Should have been Fords
I
in the
feel like
desert
they've been
list.
A lot of it was circumstantial because they were all at the back of the pack on one of the earlier cautions, 6 laps pitted. And then when that happened, they were like, well, we don't need tires or gas, so we're just going to stay out. And it was just so hard to pass that they just kind of held where they were because a lot of them that were finished in the top 10 didn't run in the top 10 all day until they
right.
stayed. Everybody else pitted. So I don't necessarily think that
Do you
showed
think
me.
they did good on strategy but not performance?
Yeah, I
See what
mean,
you
I
say.
will say that I'm more confident in SHR moving forwards, but I don't think they show. I don't know. Well, I will say Gregson, his performance was him and Briscoe did have good performances, um,
I agree.
barring the strategy, which I think what Gregson ended up finishing 12th, didn't he?
Yeah, finished
Um,
12th.
yes.
And he ran in the top 10 most of the day. So
Yeah, he collected stage points. Briscoe collected stage points. Blaney collected stage points all three stages. McDowell collected stage points and finished in the top 10. I mean, you had 5 Fords in the top 10 with Busher in second, Kozlowski fourth, Blaney fifth, McDowell eighth, Briscoe ninth. And your only Chevy in the top 10 was Ross Chastain, and then you got to go all the way to 13th to Suarez for the next Chevy.
which I
Mhm.
mean, up until that caution, Chase Elliott and William Byron ran in the top 5 all day, but that's just one of those things with how close all the cars are. Yeah, you can run top 5, but so can 15 other people, obviously,
Right.
Right.
it's just that close. That's why everybody's like track position, track position, track position. And that's why it matters where you qualify because I mean, the tires obviously fell off a good bit because Martin Truex pitted, went a lap down, and finished 7th or 8th.
Yeah.
And so, obviously, tires do mean a little something, but that's because people had 60 laps on their tires.
Mhm.
So,
Well, where we going to?
Oh. I feel like y'all talked about this. I mean, I think Daniel touched on it a little bit with the late race cautions. Kind of shaking everything up and moving all of the Fords to the front.
Yeah, it was definitely a those what it was 3 or 4 in a row right there at the beginning of stage 3. Kind
Mhm.
of shook it up a little bit, and then that one in the middle of stage 3 really really shook it up at the end there. So it caused some flip flop in the field. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see how the strategy played out for another week in a row, with some guys trying to run a little different, a little longer, hoping for like a later race caution. With that caution kind of splitting the stage, it didn't really help in that aspect.
mhm.
Mhm.
So
And then you have Christopher Bell with a really dominant car this past week.
I think he was the biggest mover every time Fox put that graphic on the screen.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah, that's
So
what he went from. I mean, to go from
He-
first is really impressive when the biggest complaint about Phoenix is you can't pass, but I think he begs to differ.
right,
Mhm.
which also finally have a Phoenix race go his way is a big plus considering what he's happened to him the past 2 championship 4 appearances at Phoenix.
Yeah. You know, what I also haven't noticed is, assuming if Blaney would have had just this much more, if his splitter would have been this much more longer, in the first 4 races, all the championship 4 drivers would have won from the year prior. Byron, Blaney, Larson, and Bell. If Blaney just had a spoiler this much longer, all 4
Right.
of the championship drivers would have won the first 4 races. Which I mean, Ryan Blaney still is the points leader right now. So
Yeah. And I mean,
it's
also
Daniel.
speaking on that, starting off the season the same way we've seen it since the next gen era of 4 different winners in the first 4 races. Does that make you worry about more than 16 yet?
I feel like it's too early to tell.
How many things were we supposed to ask each other after Coda?
Too many.
We'll add it
Too
to
many.
the list. So Yeah, I think there's a possibility of it at this rate because we're also seeing a lot of cars run up front, and then we have a lot of contenders that we know should win a race that are kind of mid pack right now. Logano, for example, like we expect him to win a
30th.
race. But then
Right.
we didn't expect that much out of Gragson and SHR in general, but all the SHR cars are running top 15, top 20 cars with Gragson being basically the flagship of SHR right now in that 10 car with,
The exclusion
Mhm.
player, he's running like crap.
yeah,
Priest is showing some flashes, but definitely the. Isn't it crazy how much Noah Braxton's paint scheme this weekend looked like Danica Patrick's?
it did. I was trying to figure out the
I was
vibes there for a little while, and it finally clicked like mid stage two. I was like, there
Yeah,
it
I was
is,
like,
GoDaddy.
hey, I'm surprised he's not like 35th and spun out twice by now. You know, Speaking of Noah Gregson, I have a question, Alan.
Yeah,
With the momentum he has, who do you think wins first, him or Ty Gibbs?
Gibbs.
Gibbs.
Well, I'm going to be different and say Gregson, even though I picked Ty Gibbs to win last week.
I was about to say, wait.
Look, this is what I'm going to say. Gregson's got to win this weekend at Bristol to beat Gibbs to a win.
Really, that's who Alan's saying he should pick, and you get to pick before him. Take his pick.
Oh, I already know who he's picking.
It's changed like 3 times, but I get last pick, so I technically just get all the leftovers. So, and you know what? Sometimes
Now
leftovers
you
do
know how,
reheat well.
now you know how I've been feeling.
Yeah, it's the first time I've been in this hole, man. I don't know what to do with myself.
It's not a fun place.
So,
It's not
no,
weak.
I'm saying Gibbs wins Coda, which means that I need my pick to be better than Amelie's at least, so I can pick Gibbs for Coda over her.
I was about to say, I feel like you already know
Well, you
mine.
picked Gibbs this week. So you won this week with Gibbs. He's off your list now.
Yeah, real.
Don't you wish you would have saved him?
No, because I won with him.
Got the dub. So, yeah, no,
Finally.
I'm saying that um Gregson has to win at Bristol for him to beat Gibbs to a win because Gibbs is going to win Coda.
Why are you so
So,
confident that win Coda? Is my
well,
question.
first off, the driver. I believe Gibbs has the raw talent and ability to do it, but also seeing how, and Aero's not the biggest factor at road courses, but seeing how the Toyotas really rose to the top in this package and this style, I believe that that may transfer over, and I think he's due. I think that that team is a winning caliber, is a playoff caliber team in the 54 car with Gibbs behind the wheel. I do believe that Gibbs will be a future champion in the sport. And we gave him a lot of crap last year, but also there was a lot of just learning and seeing what he's been doing this year so far. That that particular race fits his skill set so well with it being a road course and with his ability on a road course. I mean, his first ever NASCAR series win came at the Daytona road course. So, and he has multiple road course wins throughout the Xfinity
Right.
series. So, I really don't see. Obviously, there's different people you can pick. You can pick Suarez can always pop up on a road course. Chastain, Allmendinger should be there. Hamlin's getting better. Truex, Bush, Bell, Elliott, probably half the field. You can put half the field in that spot, but I think that Ty Gibbs is due, and I think that that's something that they have already circled. So, and I agree with you, Daniel Harper. Tyler Reddick or Christopher Bell may have something to say about it. Reddick being last year's winner, but I think that also Gibbs is hungry enough that he will do what Chastain did to Allmendinger and
Really? Did he
you.
win in the 8 there as well to get his first win?
His first one in the 8 car. Where did that come?
Coda.
Was it Coda?
Mm,
I thought it was Brickyard.
was Coda.
I was about to say I trust Daniel.
Wow, I appreciate that. So,
Because the year before is when they raced there the first time and it poured down rain and Chase Elliott won. And then the
mhm.
year after that is Reddick won in the 8 car. Then he won in the 45 last year. Yeah, so he's back
No,
to back there.
I thought Chastain won the year before that because Chastain sent Allmendinger into Bowman after getting sent through a
What
turn.
was the other road course they were racing in Texas then? What Road America?
Emily, did you
Yeah,
ever figure
Road
out that
America.
answer?
No.
Not Coda.
All right, what do we need the answer to?
Tyler Reddick's first.
Where did Chastain or Reddick get their first win?
Chastain was Coda.
No,
I'm
I think it was
guaranteeing
Road
it.
America.
I'd put money on it. Either way, Gibbs is going to win it this year, so it doesn't really matter. He's going to punch his ticket to the playoff and be the 6th different winner of 2024.
The 6th. You're
Yes.
confident.
I'm confident that somebody else will win at Bristol this weekend. So,
Me too.
You never know.
I'm going
Did
to be
you
honest.
listen to our splash and go about Bush? Just saying.
He doesn't have a win this season, so this is the opportunity. By the way, if you haven't, make sure to check it out on YouTube, Splash and Go. Kyle Busch Go.
It's a whole little hot take episode right there.
A
So
hot
it's a
mess
little bit longer
episode.
than a hot take. So, well, moving from there,
Speaking of hot takes,
we have a new segment, guys.
we do have a new segment. I ended up naming it Hot Lap. Yeah, never
It
mind.
is Hot Lap. So, Hot Lap. Thoughts on the new short track road course package after one race? Real quick hot take. Daniel.
Because Phoenix isn't a real short track.
All right, Emily.
I can't argue with that. Like, he is right.
The package is better, and we're going to see the fruits of NASCAR's labor finally.
The Rock has come back.
So, well, you want to talk about viewership real quick for Phoenix? I got some notes on that, you guys. Because this tells you Phoenix isn't going anywhere in a generalization sense.
Mhm.
Well, like we talked about earlier, with 6 back-to-back sellouts, they're not getting rid of Phoenix, and it's going to have 2 dates because, and one of those dates is going to be in the playoffs. It might not be the championship anymore, but they're not going to lose a playoff date, and they're not going to not have 2 dates just because they keep selling that place out.
Yeah, I
So-
mean,
I
it's
mean, yeah,
making
if it
NASCAR.
keeps selling out,
NASCAR
why
owns the
would you
track.
change it?
Yeah,
Yeah, and
They're-
people just need to accept Phoenix for what it is and quit thinking that it can be fixed, because it's not going to get fixed, because there's nothing that's going to change it no matter what wrench they throw at it. Phoenix is Phoenix. That's
yeah.
it.
Well, people seem to like it on TV. Up 19% from last year's Phoenix spring race in viewership, with
Wow.
4.028 million views and peaked at 4.5. So it's 19%, excluding the 500. The overall average viewership is up 11% from 2023 over the course of the first 4 races. I got to get my numbers right. First 4 races of 2024, with a 4.3 million average, up from a 3.9 last year. So NASCAR is doing something right, and they have generated what is that, about 500,000 more fans, give or take. So on average, but yeah, I tell you what, a 19% increase. I feel bad for Bristol just because it's after this and what people saw at Phoenix. It may put a sour taste in some people's mouths after Daytona 500, obviously. We get spoiled by an Atlanta finish. We get spoiled by a Vegas rundown, and then we come to Phoenix and have some wrecks in the beginning of stage 3, a spin in the middle, and then Bell dominates the rest of the race.
Another week, another lap 6 wreck.
Right? What are we gonna do to get out of the first like 10
the way
laps?
you were going with that, I thought you were saying you feel bad for Bristol because you think Phoenix is going to be a better race than Bristol. And I was like, you take that back right now. I was getting kind of mad, and I was like, has he lost his mind? Like he thinks Bristol's going to be a worse race than Phoenix? But
I am off
you
my
redeemed
rocker today.
you redeemed yourself. I was about to be like, no, I'm logging off. I'm logging off. If that's it,
Bye.
I'm logging
See you
off.
later.
Well, that's it for this week, guys. We'll talk to you. I've lost all of my
I was like, I'm
co-hosts,
done.
so it'll just be me talking to myself. Yeah.
So, real quick opinion question for y'all.
Mhm.
Bristol goes back. They're taking away the dirt this year, right? It's no
Correct.
longer a dirt track.
Right.
Now, I know that y'all have complained about it being a dirt track in the past. How do you feel like it's going to affect what we've seen in the past few years? Is it going to make it better, worse?
This is bad. This is good. So bad went bye-bye, and good's back.
Do we need the badge
Elaborate.
analogy again? Do we need the badge?
Yeah.
We need details.
I think that. Go ahead, Daniel.
My references are every Bristol race that didn't have dirt on the racetrack.
I would say that Bristol definitely does is better this year. I mean, the dirt, it is a great, again, NASCAR loves their gimmicks. Look at the Coliseum. I mean, look at how they do the All-Star race when they did it at Texas. And I mean, even really kind of including North Wilkesboro, because North Wilkesboro was a dominated race, it is a single lane track. So they like their gimmicks, they like their inversions of fields and everything along those lines. Bristol Dirt lived its life. I will say last year we had to eat our words on it because the race was good, but I think that the product that we will see Sunday is much better than the product that we have seen the past 3 Bristol races.
Oh yeah, give me 1,000 horsepower and some skinny tires on that bad boy. You want to talk about a good race?
So, Dan Harper kind of already got what we were going to next. So, this is the last year that Phoenix is under contract for the championship, and there's rumors that it may go back to Homestead.
I'd probably take that to the bank.
Yeah, just about. And I think this race at Phoenix this weekend sealed the deal on that. And I mean, again, Phoenix, like we've reiterated, Daniel has reiterated multiple times in this episode, Phoenix is going to be Phoenix. I mean, that's just what it is. Phoenix is Phoenix is Phoenix is Phoenix. You can say it however many times. You can spin around in a mirror 3 times and say it again, and it's still going to be dog leg. So I there's nothing that's gonna change that. And Homestead will put on a better show with it being a more traditional mile and a half, and this car is built for a mile and a half. I will say I'm wondering how long the contract will be and what the plans are, because what NASCAR owns, the championships have stayed towards NASCAR owned tracks, and I think there's 6 of them.
The last time it was a track that wasn't NASCAR is when they had the championship race at Atlanta. And that's not, like people have talked about bouncing the championship race around, but like as far as like climate and time of year, Homestead and Phoenix are really, or maybe Las Vegas. Those are really the only 3 places that make sense, unless you're going to have it. I mean, they do race Martinsville right before Phoenix, so if you're going to do Martinsville to have the championship race or Bristol or something, maybe I'm contradicting my original point. Wow, there's a lot of good places you could have the championship race.
Well,
That was gonna be my next question is like if they don't bring it back to Homestead, where else do you think they would?
well,
That would
I
draw in the same crowd as
I think
Phoenix.
due to industry demand, it'll probably go back to Homestead. But I would not be surprised if it's a floating date from now on. Like they don't, and no other sport goes to and plays their championship game in at the same place every year. You know, the Super Bowl bounces. The what do you call the MLB championship games?
the
Is that
World
it?
Series technically
A
bounces, but it
World
goes
Series.
to the home teams to the away teams. The NL versus AL. So,
Mhm.
like, if the Braves played the Yankees, it'd be played at Truist, and then they do a couple games at Truist, and then go up and play it at what is it, Yankee Stadium, New Yankee Stadium, whatever it is.
Right.
But here's my thoughts on this, and I kind of picked this up from some things I've heard and watched this week. NASCAR owns 6 tracks: Darlington, Daytona, Talladega, Homestead, Phoenix, Auto Club. Darlington, you got to worry about the winter, which I mean they do race Martinsville before that, so that's a possibility. Daytona and Talladega
Mhm.
is just asking to be a gimmick, that fits NASCAR's bill, but so that leaves
I
you
was gonna say
3
send it.
in the warm
That
climates.
would be 3 races that we'd get.
Yeah, get a Talladega championship. Wow. Talk about a finish too. But
But
I
like
would
you said, it would
say,
turn into a gimmick if we did that.
yeah, it wouldn't be. It would be like
Is it a
it would
gimmick when
be.
you race at Talladega in the playoffs?
That's a little different.
Okay.
Is it?
Ooh.
It is. It is.
How so?
Yeah, I was about to say.
So it is your wild card race. It's the same with the season ender being at Daytona. It's a wild card race to get to your last leg. That's your last chance, your last opportunity. Granted, it's not this season, so don't
Really?
contradict me there because the Olympics screwed up the schedule this year. I don't want to hear the contradiction on that because Darlington is a season
Oh
closer
no,
this
no,
year.
that's no. I get what you were picking. I'm picking up what you're putting down. But what's the
Hmm.
difference? And this is your last shot to get in the playoffs. This is your last shot to move forward in the playoffs. This is your last shot to win a championship. It puts a lot of excitement around that.
Well, do it at Atlanta. It is the happy medium between mile and a half and Super Speedway.
Yeah, but Talladega is closer to me.
Atlanta's closer to me.
Yeah, but Atlanta. I
So
would say if I had to pick one of the 2, I'd pick for them to do it at Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta would put on a better race than Talladega, but
Mhm.
I'm cracking my Dega race again, boy.
I'm
I'm
not
not saying
crapping
the
on your
Dega
Dacre
race is
race. I'm
bad.
just calling a spade a spade.
Hey,
Would you
it'd
like to
be
watch a
more exciting.
championship where they save fuel and run 175 around the track?
No, I would say do a shortened race. Like my thing is, why does the championship race need to be 3 stages if stage points don't matter?
Well,
Why
stage
not?
points do
How a
matter.
NASCAR race goes.
They don't matter for the championship, but they matter for the owners' points and the
Yeah,
where your final playoff
who
standing is.
cares about the owners' points in the championship race?
People that
What do they
make
care
money.
about? The four who? Okay,
I'm gonna
when
let
you
y'all
were
hash this one out.
when you're watching Phoenix last year, were you like, I wonder how many stage points Chase Elliott's going to get because the 9 car is 10th in the playoffs right now, and if he gets 15 stage points and finishes good, he might jump to 9th.
That doesn't concern me because I don't
Who
get paid
paid
to do
attention?
that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Who paid attention to that?
Inside the fan base,
Owners.
probably not anybody.
Chase Elliott is probably not a good example because his fans are wankers or whatever. But
We're getting canceled now. No wonder they
yeah,
banned us
don't
from
ask.
the page.
Yeah. But I guess bottom line, what fan really cares about the owner points? You know who cares about the owner points?
The owners.
The owners.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it was right.
No one else cares. Like
Well,
no one.
so here's your thing though. The only other races that don't have points are the exhibitions. The only races that don't include that style is the exhibition races.
I'm not
So
saying don't make it a point paying race. I'm saying, okay, I mean, even if you are going to do stages, do 30, 30, 40. That's all within a fuel window. It'd be a shorter race. The racing would be harder because it's 30, 30, 40. And everybody is going to be trying to push to the front. You're going to see more calamity because we're going to be 3, 4 wide at Talladega with cars pushing each other as hard as they can, trying to get to the front.
all right, what
Would
happens
that
if
not
the
be
4 championship drivers get caught up in the big one?
what happens if we live in what ifs?
We go round and round.
Yeah. I mean, we can go round and around in circles, but listen, with all this being said, I mean, Talladega really wouldn't make that championship race, but
Ow.
it's
Thank
feasible.
you.
You know,
Daniel
not-
just wants the championship race to be closer to his house, is essentially what he is
Yeah.
saying.
Phoenix is
Mm.
so far, and it's a whole God. It's already bad enough when they always post everything. Tune in 3:30 Eastern, and I'm thinking, and I don't hear the Eastern part. And the next thing I know, I'm getting a notification that the race is on, and it's only 2:30, and I'm like, oh crap! And then my day's ruined because I wasn't prepared to sit down and watch NASCAR yet.
That's why you got to plan ahead.
Compared to-
I try to, but it's so hard living in Central Standard Time Zone because we're forgotten about, because I'm
You
too
are the middle
close.
child at that point.
I wasn't the same.
I'm too close to Eastern Standard Time. So like any local news that I get is out of Georgia. So it's tough living in East Alabama.
Move back to Georgia.
No, it's tough, but it's way cheaper.
So, all right, well, let's reel this dog back in.
That was a very long tangent y'all just got off on. And I'm just gonna. So, do we think that Toyotas will dominate the short tracks this year?
No.
Yes. Daniel,
I
your
knew
evidence.
that was gonna be a thing. Oh my gosh.
What? I just don't think so. I'm not basing anything off Phoenix. Like I'm not making any assumptions on how this package is going to perform off Phoenix.
Well, that's just sad.
Like Phoenix, what can you compare Phoenix to?
Phoenix?
A dog leg?
Yeah, nothing. It's not comparable to anything. Like
It's not
how am I
not
gonna, I
comparable
can't
either.
think-
Hey, it goes in a circle and they do laps.
They make left turns.
Oh, you beat me to it. I was gonna be like, they only make left turns.
Sometimes they go to the right to avoid the dog leg. Yeah. Again,
I feel like Daniel is very annoyed this episode.
we can revisit it after Coda. Or hold on, I'll take it back. We'll revisit it after Bristol.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're running that package at the road course too, so we can talk about it after Coda.
Actually, are they running
Another
it at
thing
Bristol?
to add to
Because I
the
thought they
list.
weren't running it at the High Banks.
No, they're not. No, they're running the tire, but they're not running the different diffuser.
That's sad.
Mm.
Well,
Yeah, I
moving
mean,
on.
so, yeah, exactly. Ask me after Coda. And Bristol's a short track, and they're not running that package there. So how can you say Toyotas are going to dominate at Bristol?
Y'all do realize that I'm going to have to go back and watch every single one of our episodes to find out what to ask y'all about after Coda.
Well, what do you think we pay you for?
Y'all do not pay me.
You don't have to say that. By the way, guys, buy merch. Hit us up. We also have stickers. Except this one, like, you cannot see it because it's in a transfer tape.
I
But
can see it when you backed up.
oh,
You're
could
too
you?
close to the camera. Focus. Yeah.
I was about to say your ring light is just
Bring it
washing
closer.
it out
Bring it closer.
a little bit.
Closer. Stop.
Right there.
There we go.
Right there.
There you go, guys. So hit us up. We'll hook you up. Maybe. So, anyways, though, yeah,
It is
we'll ask after
time for
Coda.
our weekly. Ah, yeah, I know. I did have a list in our show notes, and someone deleted it.
I'm not gonna say I
Well,
didn't, but I'm not gonna say that I did. But I do like to clear the sheet
pretty
after
sure you
every
did.
week.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm pretty sure
Should
you
have made
did.
a tab.
At this point, yes. So, time for our weekly rookie rundown.
Weekly rookie rundown.
Rundown. Try saying that
So
5
it's
times fast.
pretty similar to the previous week's. Zane Smith.
Yeah, he is just. It's just not going good for him right
I
now.
felt like I saw him, like he had promise, and then it just took a nosedive.
It's honestly the complete opposite of what I thought. Well, not the complete opposite. I thought it would be Barry Hocevar Smith, but it's Hocevar and way over here, Barry and Smith. Like they're not even close.
Say, let's see, what did Hocevar finish? He finished 15th, right behind Kyle Larson and in front of Bubba Wallace.
Get
Yeah,
into
you're.
the bank.
I was about to say, he's
Outperforming. Well, him and Corey LaJoy are tied in points. Corey's had 2 rough weeks of accidents, but that's what this
yeah, where
week.
did Corey LaJoy?
I can 30 something. This was his first.
33,
Yeah,
and
this
he
is
did not
first DNF
finish.
in 44 races
Wow.
over a season. All right, Alan.
So.
What do you
Yes.
expect from Bristol?
No dirt.
Yeah, I expect to be a little cleaner. But no, I mean, it's this car hasn't seen Bristol in the day
Here,
on concrete. So every single Bristol concrete race has been a night race. I think it's seen practice and maybe qualifying during the day, but not much else. So I do expect I don't know what to expect other than it's Bristol, baby. So that's about all I got for you.
hell yeah. Yeah, that's the same thing. That's what every podcast I've listened to, they say that the temperature of Bristol like doesn't really affect the track that much. So I think it'll be pretty similar to what we see in the night races. But,
Mm,
even the nighttime is the right time. We'll watch it during the day. Stay up as late.
Hey,
yeah,
that works for us. That is, I think, one of the first races this season that we don't have to record and watch back.
pending.
Yeah, that's what I expect it to get wide. I saw something that was floating around that they might be putting some resin on the track. That might ruin it.
Put some P1
But
down.
if they don't,
Really?
yeah, just because it might rain.
It's supposed to rain
So-
Friday. It's a 56% chance on Friday.
Yeah, so if they don't do that, you'll see people on the top, bottom, and middle, and that will create passing because people are running on different lines. Tires are wearing differently because of
Mm-hmm.
depending on where you're driving on the track. Obviously, the
Mhm.
lower you go on the racetrack, the tires are going to wear, unless you're letting out super. They could really take some tips from me. I could get them still pretty good, but
Hire
gonna-
Daniel.
it's going to create some differences in how people go. So I think you'll see a lot of passing, and I mean it will probably get really spread out. Well, not probably, it will get really spread out, and you'll see a lot of passing because there's so many options of where you can race on the track, and it'll prove why it's the best short track on the circuit.
Well, I will say this from something that I picked up earlier today. And I think this is from J-Ski's Silly Season site. But Basically, the quote is expect teams to definitely try to qualify in the top 10 this weekend, as 78% of cup races at Bristol have been won by drivers starting 10th or better, with 33.3% of winnings coming from the front row. So keep an eye on qualifying on the 16th at
Wow.
5 p.m.
Mm.
78% of winners starting in the top 10.
This is what the everybody's racing so close. So everybody's within tenths. So I don't think there probably won't be that many passes for the lead, but like 5th place to 20th, I think will shake up pretty well.
Right. So
That's what I'm trying to. Bob Parker posted something about it. Hang on, I'm trying to fact check myself.
while you fact check, guys, we want to remind you, we talked about this earlier in the episode. We are sponsoring a Legends car out in California this year. So up on the screen, guys, we have his schedule for Tyler Batsianis driving the number 30 Legends car. And it will start March 23rd at All American Speedway. As you see, we have on the right side of the screen, it's the 70th opening night in I think it's Roseville. But they'll have the Spears Southwest Tour late models modified and the super stocks with the Legends and post-race fireworks. Gates open at 4, opening ceremonies at 5. Tickets $20, ages 6 to 12, 15, 5 and under free. So if you're out in that area, go support your local short track, go support Tyler, go support Gas on the Ride, as you'll see him running around the track with us on the car. So make sure to join in with us and support him. Also, you can find him on social medias at Tyler_B_racing. Give him a follow and keep up with his season this year. So we're going for a track championship at All American Speedway, and I think overall points over for this 8 races. So thank you to Tyler for joining with us. Keep an eye out for a Splash and Go in the upcoming weeks with Tyler, hopefully out in the next 2 weeks. And we will be talking with him, talking about his racing and everything. So make sure to join us with that. Daniel, have you finished your fact check?
I was gonna say we will have all of his socials linked in the description as well. You want to give him a follow.
Yeah, it was a fake. I believe everything you read on the internet.
Yeah, I gotta watch those. So
Is it pick time?
Yeah,
I think we've made it.
Recap.
Let's do a quick recap of last week. We were all right there at each other last week.
All
I think
in the
this is
top
the
10.
closest. Yeah, I think this is the closest all three of
Since the Clash.
Right. So sorry I can't put us all in the top 5.
It's fine.
Oh, you stink.
All right, so a quick breakdown. Daniel, you picked Gibbs, finished 3rd. I had Blaney, and Alan had Chastain. So we finished 3rd, 5th, and 6th. And Daniel finally won.
Daniel
We're
coming
very proud
with the
of him.
first win from the back. Well done, sir. Actually, from the front, because I think he qualified, what, 2nd? So
Yes.
up front and stayed up front. So great job, Daniel. That means, sir, you have first
Can you
pick.
believe I
First
almost picked
dibs.
Josh Berry?
Yeah, that was.
We did give him such a hard time about picking Gibbs.
We did.
Yeah, everybody, even the chat was crapping on me. They're like, "Don't pick Guy Gibbs. That's a terrible pick." And guess what? You were wrong.
Well,
I'm sure
What
that
happened to your other picks this season?
no one
let's
crapped
see.
on those picks. They're
39th,
pretty good
31st, 26th.
So I think what you should do is you should just base your picks on everyone else's reaction. If
That's the
everyone
best
agrees
way to
with
do
you,
it.
don't pick.
All right, this week I'm gonna go with Ty Dillon.
Oh, you changed it.
No,
Oh,
Ty
never
Dillon
mind.
Race Cup Series.
Oh my gosh,
That's
I
a
thought you meant
horrible pick. He's not
about
even
the
here.
same.
You don't even
I
go
thought you meant
here.
Austin Dillon.
Yeah,
You want to go here?
even if he was in the race, that was still automatic last place. I'm going with Brad Keselowski.
Okay,
His
so you
teammate
you
Christopher
didn't
Horner
change.
won the fall race there, and Brad was
Mhm.
also very strong and had an issue, and that is what ultimately led to him not winning the race. And he will redeem himself and break his 100-something race losing streak. So that's my pick, Brad Keselowski. And
I
then
didn't realize did he really have that high of a losing streak?
it's
I
been
didn't realize that.
2 or 3 years.
Yeah, it's been a minute. How many did you say it was? Like 105, 106 now?
Something like that.
So, well,
I think it's like
Emily, you are
103. It doesn't matter. It's all going to change today, Sunday.
Sunday. Yes, Sunday.
Hold on, I'm trying to see when was his last win? I didn't realize it had been that long.
06. He's
Huh?
a fact checker. He beat you to it. He said it's 106.
106.
There you go. 106. Okay.
Emily, who are you picking?
So for this week, I am going with William Byron.
Really? He sucks at Bristol.
No, he does not. Not based on his stats. And I knew you were going to ask me this, so I already have it up. His average finish at Bristol is 5th. He is right there behind Larson, and I can't pick Larson, so. He's had 2 top 5s and 3 top 10s, while he's led 0% of laps that he has been in that top 5 finish. Holding on to that. Let me live in my fantasy.
It's another second place behind Brad Keselowski winning, but yeah, whatever you want to pick.
Hey, do I need to mention that I'm still winning out of the 3 of us?
No. Alan, who do you got?
We're gonna go Michael McDowell.
You know this is a short
Who?
track, a road course, right?
I do know it's a short track and not a road course. I also know that they love to play the strategy game. So out of
I thought you were
3
under the
concrete
impression that
races,
we would dominate the short track races.
I want to
Are you
change it up
going
a
back
little
on?
bit.
I'm gonna be honest, I've told Alan that there are times I forget McDowell exists.
So average finish of
Quiet, but
13.7.
like
That's all I really need, you know? I mean, I feel confident he's right up there with you guys. Granted, Busher has a 9.3 average finish with Byron having a 5th place average finish, but I also got a little bit of cushion before last place. So, but I would say I'm gonna go Michael McDowell. I feel a little confident in that one, and I'll take it on that. You know,
easy win for me. Whatever. And now you
so
can't use them at a road course.
that's okay. There's
Alan,
plenty of other
before we lock
ringers.
in this pick, are you sure?
Even the chat's calling you out on.
I was
Hey,
about to say.
look, they're not running the package.
Alan said Toyota dominating
What
short
are you
track
gonna?
proceeds to pick
I'm
a
sorry.
Ford.
They didn't
I
say with
went
the
to my
short track
grave with
package.
that.
Your question, do they dominate short tracks, not if they're running the package?
Well, it's I'm already seeing a white light from where I'm putting myself in a grave right now. So it is what it is. Golly, this thing is just like
If you
not
would like to
doing it
repick,
today.
we will give you 1 free change before we lock these in.
Michael McDowell. I die on the Toyota Hill and then I pick a Ford.
Okay,
Sorry,
well,
not
the one
sorry.
thing I will say you have going for you is Daniel got the chat blowing up last week. Maybe it'll work for you this week.
Yeah, the chat envies towards you this week, Alan. So maybe that will play in your favor.
That's all I need. That's all I need. So, well, with that, you guys, I reckon it's time to close it out for the week, and we will see you post Bristol.